everyone, and welcome to the Healing Room. My name is Marcia Williams, and I'm a licensed therapist and a narcissistic abuse recovery coach. And I am so happy to be here joining you every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to share with you some of the most common questions that are asked in my practice. I work with survivors of narcissistic abuse every day. It's my mission, it's my passion, and where that passion comes from is my own personal experience. So, though I have been a therapist for 22 years, I was married to a narcissist for 30 years. We dated for 5 years prior to that, so 35 years with a narcissist. And so I can relate so much to my clients every day. And with my clinical knowledge and understanding of narcissism, I want to help you. So I hope you will join me every Monday night at 7 p.m. You're here tonight. Thank you for being here. Very good to see you. So, you ready for our topic tonight? The topic is, if you hated me so much, why didn't you just leave me? Have you experienced a relationship with a narcissist where you've seen them get so angry? You see the hatred in their eyes when they are yelling at you and screaming at the top of their lungs about how much they hate you and how much you make them sick and you're this and you're that. And you're wondering, who is this person? Who is this person that I'm married to or in a relationship with? Have you experienced how hateful they can be? Name calling, disrespecting you, calling you everything in the book, disrespecting you in every way possible. And you wonder, if you hate me so much, just leave me alone. Just let me go. Just leave. That is a question that comes across in my therapy and coaching sessions so often because we're getting this day in and day out. But then we see them interacting in public and we see a side of them, likely the side that we fell in love with, because they're charismatic, they're fun. Sometimes they're the life of the party, or they're just generous. They seem so caring, so genuine. And if you are with a covert narcissist, then other people are saying, you're so lucky. You're so lucky to have them in your life. You know, where did you find him or her? I want one like that. I want a relationship like yours. That's how we were seen. Our relationship was, and I was told this by one of my friends who was devastated when we divorced. She said, your relationship was the epitome of Black love. She said, I looked up to you and your husband because you guys just seem to love each other so much. You seem to just be so in love. And I wanted a relationship like yours. And so for her, seeing what she saw on the outside and then later learning, not just from me, but from my book is called Life Married to a Narcissist. It's called Groomed, and it's on Amazon, by the way, as well as my website. But I wrote about my experiences because the disrespect that I received in this relationship, in my marriage for so long, was always so baffling to me. It just baffled me. You know, I fell in love with my ex husband because I felt so safe, so comfortable with him. And I even felt like he was my protector. You know, when I was with him, I wasn't afraid of anything because he was, big and tall and handsome, and it just felt lucky. Just felt lucky. And, now I know that was the love bombing stage, and I soon realized the purpose that I served in his life. So we're experiencing all the anger, all of the just the worst part of them. But on the outside, people see our relationship as just, the epitome of Black love in my case. Just this person who is admired by others or envied by others. And so we are caught in between our reality and what other people see on the outside. And our reality, we see the worst, we experience the worst. So, why are we receiving this type of treatment from a narcissist? So, here's the thing, it's all about control. Narcissistic relationships aren't about love, they're about power, image, and control. And that is their goal every minute of this relationship. There were so many rules in my relationship of who I could talk to, how I should interact, how I should present myself when we're together and when we're not together. What I could wear, what was appropriate to wear and not to wear. He controlled everything. Now, he would deny this to this day. He would deny this. But that's the part of the healing journey, is owning your truth. And your reality is your truth. And so we spend years, months, weeks, years, however long you're in a relationship with a narcissist, being told that we're overreacting, we're lying, we're exaggerating. This is where what I have created, because of my experience, I created a program called Darvo versus Peace. And peace stands for the 5 stages of healing that I created, that I went through myself, and that I want to also encourage you to follow. We're all on this healing journey together. So why don't they leave? If they hate us so much, why don't they just leave? Well, leaving would mean that we win. If they leave, then that means they're surrendering. And it also means that we see through their mask. We see them. Do you remember? Somebody put it in the chat. Good evening, peace seekers. I love that. Somebody put it in the chat. Do you remember when you finally started seeing them? You can finally see them. They can feel that. They know when they're losing control. And I did a reel the other day about finding myself, because when I started changing, he said, I don't like the new Marcia. And I just thought that was such an interesting statement, that as I was feeling better, more confident, and less engaged in the manipulation tactics of him trying to blame shift and gaslight, when I wasn't reacting and responding to that, he said, I don't like the new Marcia. That meant that he didn't like that he was losing control. So they don't leave because your pain feeds their power. Your confusion is their oxygen. So think about how much power this means that you actually have. Oh my goodness. Listen, y'all, when you realize the power that you have, that you possess, you will be blown away. Now, I'm not saying it's easy, because I'm trying to help you do something I couldn't do. Okay. I didn't know my power until the very end. And that's typically when we hit that rock bottom that we talked about last week. That is when we realize, wait a minute, this is not okay. I am no longer okay with this. When you recognize your power, it scares the holy, can I cuss live? I don't know. Well, y'all know what I was going to say. It scares the crap out of them. Scares them to death. And the manipulation will increase, because manipulation is control. So they're going to do everything in their power to try to regain control. And because we're empathetic, and because we feel so deeply, we keep trying. We keep trying to get them to understand. We keep trying to get them to hear us. We keep trying to get them to validate us. We're not crazy, or are we? This is the craziness, the crazy making that is going on in our head because of the manipulation. It's a game. It is a game. And until we learn to play the game, if you're still in the relationship, or even if you're not in the relationship and you're getting love bombed or hoovered, you have to play the game. So as much as we are learning about narcissists, there's no reason for us to not reclaim our power. And I'm not saying it's an overnight thing. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not easy. But guess what? As long as you know a narcissist, you will have plenty of opportunities to practice. I used to practice, this is funny. Memories come to me as I talk. So I veer off what I was going to say all the time. So I might be ADHD, but never got diagnosed. Mom, you might need to look into that. Even though maybe I'm too old now. Okay, see? ADHD. Okay, I'm back. I used to practice testing the boundaries. And so I would say something that I knew I was forbidden to say because I would hear, who are you talking to? Who do you think you're talking to? He was a bear. I told him I did that a lot of times. So, because I had to try to make it fun, because if I was too serious, then I'd have to shrink. So I would just, I turned it into kind of a joke, playing the game, because everything is a joke. So, hey, let's joke. You're an asshole. Ooh, can I cuss? Right? So, practice testing the boundaries. Practice testing the boundaries. Because, listen, safety comes first. Safety comes first. And it's important to be aware. You know your narcissist. We know our narcissist I knew what would be crossing the line, but I could test. I could test the waters as I was finding my strength. You find the strength in the doing. You don't sit around and wait for strength like a bus. When's it going to come so I can do what I need to do? No, we don't wait for strength. We think we need to wait for strength, but the only reason we're waiting for strength is because we're scared. It's freaking scary. It's terrifying. When you've seen the level of anger that they can spew, it's scary. So, no, I'm not telling you go in there and give them a piece of your mind. Actually do the exact opposite. Okay, so let me bring it back to, why do they stay when they show so much hatred towards us? So as I said, they don't leave because your pain feeds their power. Your confusion is their oxygen. Do you realize how much you're giving them? So here's the narcissist playbook. They stay to keep access. We are giving them access. What do they want access to? They want access to our empathy. They want access to our body. They want access to our energy and to our resources and to who we are. They are accessing us. It fuels them, literally. Janine, I like that. Prayer was my strength. Without it, I'm sure I would have committed a crime. I am with you. I am with you on that. Wherever we can find strength, prayer is a big one. Prayer, meditation, mantras, whatever your religious beliefs are, pull on all of that. All of that. Our strength is right here waiting to be used. All right, so here's the part 2 of the narcissist playbook. We are the only ones who will let them get away with treating us the way they do. I'm sorry I have to say it, and I can say it because I did it. So I have some rights here. We allow it. I allowed it. I allowed it. When he said, "Who do you think you're talking to?" I went, "Nobody." Really? I look back and think to myself, okay, but that was me allowing, and I did it so well. I always say I created a monster because I was so good at giving him access to my empathy, to my lack of self-confidence, to my need to please. I was giving him access to my body. And that's a whole nother topic. I won't veer off on that road tonight. To your energy, to your resources. That's why they stay, because we are so We're a gift. That's why they stay. But our gift is being abused and misused. And therefore, it's our responsibility that when we recognize that, we regain control. We take it back. So, to them, here's number 3 of the narcissist playbook: leaving is a sign of failure, and that equals loss of control. Not happening. Not happening. The only way they will leave is if they have a replacement supply. They have to have a supply. Okay. So this is why they stay. Number 1, because we allow it. We allow it because we're the only ones who let them get away with treating us the way that they do. We let them get away with it. I let them. I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming me. This is what being conditioned does to us. We allow it. But remember the 50-50 rule. 50% is about them. The other 50% is about us. The 50% about me was my lack of self-confidence. The 50% about me was I thought I needed him to feel good about myself. The 50% about me was I was a people pleaser, codependent. So I could go on and on about what it was about me. So hopefully that helps to explain. One of my Facebook group members challenged, which I love a good challenge. I love it. If you're here, don't hesitate to challenge. They said 50-50. I think it's 25-75. And true, 75% is the abuse from the narcissist, and 25% is us trying to protect ourselves or enabling this behavior and things like that. So I get that. There's many different ways we can look at the 50-50 rule, and I'm for all of them. So that was a good topic in my Facebook group. Hopefully you will join my Facebook group called Passage to Peace, Narcissistic Abuse, Healing and Transformation on Facebook. So before we get out of here, let's talk about why you stayed. Why we stayed. Why I stayed. Why I stayed is not the same as why they stayed. Why we stay is for love, hope, and commitment. Why they stay is for supply, control, and ego. They stayed because we are the supply. They are able to control us, and it fuels their ego. And that's why when they leave or we leave, we feel gutted. And they seem just fine. They seem to be going on with their lives like la-di-di-di-da, like, oh well. And we're over here crying, boo-hooing, I'm drinking, smoking, I'm talking about almost committing a crime. Janine, I did commit a crime. Hopefully the statute of limitations is up because I egged the heck out of his car. I consider that a crime because that was a crime to me. That was a crime to my character. Anyway, listen, the cost of leaving for them, here's the cost. If they left, they'd have to face their own emptiness. They would have to find a new supply. Why do that when they have us? We're giving them all the supply they need. Why leave? Why bother to go through all that finding another supply? Now, sometimes a supply comes along while they're still with us, and then we're all sad and mad and afraid because they left us for someone else. Be grateful eventually. I learned to be grateful when he had an affair and I left. He stayed with the affair. I'm miserable. He's coming back because I was the better supply. Not a good thing. Trust me, that's not a horn tooting response. And I'm miserable that he left. It's a mess. It's a mess. They're gutting us. It's taking so much out of us. So when they have it as good as they do with us, being able to treat us however they want to, being able to control us and manipulate us and get their way, why leave? Why leave? So they don't leave because it's easier to use us than to confront themselves. It's easier to stay because they've got all that they need right here. They can act a fool. They can do whatever they want. Now, of course, we're going to yell, scream, we're going to argue. But all that is access. We think I thought I was standing up for myself by yelling and screaming and acting crazy and trying to get my point across. I thought I'm going to stand up to him and I'm going to da-da-da. What good did that do me? He would win every time. He would regain control every time. So as we end, let's reframe this. Listen, it's not that you weren't good enough to love. It's that you were too valuable to let go. That's not love. That's exploitation. Let's keep it real and call it what it is. That's exploitation. Yeah, on so many different levels. Okay, so here's your power move. When you leave or finally detach emotionally, that's the moment you find your strength. That's a moment of liberation. But did you hear what I said? When you leave or finally detach, when you leave, not when you're thinking about leaving, when you're about to leave, when you leave, as you leave, you are finding your strength. You are liberating yourself. Healing is understanding that it was not about you. It's about their need to control you. So you're not crazy. You're not unlovable. They treat you like it, but it's because we are access. We give them access to what makes them feel in control and powerful. So we are being controlled, but guess what? We survived. You survived. So let's break the cycle. Okay, so if any of this resonates with you, drop a heart. Drop a heart if you feel me. I need to feel you. Drop a heart. Okay, if this makes any sense, if this resonates at all with you, drop a comment in the chat. Let somebody else know that they're not alone. So if you're ready to break free, if you're struggling, I am here to help you. Thepassagetopeace.com. I have a 7-week program, P2P Essentials. It's a 7-week program. You can learn more about it on my website, thepassagetopeace.com. I also have one-on-one coaching. I want to hold your hand and walk you through this storm. So, thank you for being here tonight, and I hope to see you next Monday night and every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay, thank you, everyone. Take care. Good night.